After a nail-biting season-opening loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, the New York Jets are looking to get into the win column for the first time in the 2025 NFL season, the first time under head coach Aaron Glenn. And this Sunday, they will host the division rival Buffalo Bills. If the Jets want to pull out an upset win and improve to 1-1 on the year, they'll have to follow this formula that we're going to break down right here, right now on NY Flight Jets Talk, joined by the great Nick Faria of Jets X Factor, baby. Let's go.
This is NY Flight Jets Talk with Connor Long. NY Flight Jets Talk. We're talking Jets, 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 Jets. NY Flight Jets Talk with special guests. NY Flight Jets Talk. Here's your host, Connor Long. Jets, 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 Jets.
You are listening to NY Flight Jets Talk. Here's your host, Connor Long.
Yes, you are indeed listening to NY Flight Jets Talk, streaming live right here on YouTube and Twitter. How's everybody doing? Welcome into the show. I'm your host, Connor Long, right here with you guys on this Thursday evening. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you smash that like button and hit subscribe. That is the free way to support the show. The paid way to help us grow, you can get into our membership raffle. See it on the scrolling ticker down below. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an entry. That raffle just 4 days away. Plus, we want to engage with you guys, want to hear your thoughts. You guys can throw all your questions, your comments, your thoughts in the chat for us to get to. And then, of course, you can call into the show with the link that is pinned in the description down below. Again, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe because that is the free way to help us grow. Appreciate all the kind words. Appreciate all the support from you guys. As always, the Jets Week 2 matchup against the Buffalo Bills just days away. And last week, we outlined the Jets' keys to victory against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ultimately, that didn't come to fruition, but we did it with Antoine Staley of the New York Daily News. Now we'll pass the baton to my coworker over at JetsXFactor.com, the great Nick Faria, who joins us. Nick, it is great to be with you again, my friend. And look, it was a close game on Sunday, but I'm a fan. You're not a fan of this team. However, we both kind of share the same positive takeaways, silver linings, and the fact that there is optimism, Nick, despite a loss.
Sure. I mean, if you were to ask me at the beginning of the season, the first month or so, I would have told you that the offense was going to struggle, the defense was going to carry them, and if they didn't turn the football over on offense, they would win a lot of close games, and they were going to be able to win games. Well, the script kind of flipped in week one, and it's the big outlier week one always has been, but the offense was as good as it could possibly be. I talked to Garrett Wilson today. He kind of said the same thing. He's like, we put up 30 points, man. How many times has that happened since I've been here? So it's one of those things where the offense looks really good. The defense obviously has some things to improve, but there were, within each section, there were some great turning points that I think will help the team moving forward.
Absolutely. When you talk about this week 2 matchup against the Bills, Nick, obviously the Bills are coming off of a shootout similar to the Jets. However, they came out on the victorious end of that 41-40 comeback victory at home over the Baltimore Ravens. I think a lot of people look at this game, Nick, after a loss for the Jets at home, realizing that the Jets couldn't close out the game last week, realizing that a team of the Bills' caliber is coming to town and already crossing it off as an 0-2 start. And look, it's easy to do that when you look at the opponents, but the Jets have always been a team that pushed Buffalo when at MetLife Stadium. We saw it last year in week 6 of the season. The Jets beat the Buffalo Bills at home with Zach Wilson as their quarterback. Plus, when you talk about the Bills team and what they present offensively, what they present defensively, I think a huge mismatch in the Jets' favor is the Jets' rushing attack that compiled over 180 yards last week against, in my opinion, the best front four in all of football. You look at a Bills team who allowed 238 rushing yards to the Ravens. Now, I'm not saying Justin Fields is Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying that Breece Hall is Derrick Henry, but the Jets and Ravens bring that similar offensive approach of ground and pound, pass the ball around, that 20-25 per game mark. So I'm not crossing this game off as a loss already for the Jets, Nick. When you look at how the Bills were unable to stop the run last week, and you see the report today that Ed Oliver's in a walking boot.
It's not going to be easy, but this is another game where I think the Jets schematically can put up another 30-point performance on offense. And the big question is, can their defense hold off Josh Allen enough to be able to win the game? I mean, you really look at it, Ed Oliver being hurt certainly changes it. But even when he was on the field, the Baltimore Ravens offensive scheme, their run-first scheme, is pretty much the exact same thing as the New York Jets. The difference is one has Derrick Henry, who's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and the other has a collection of running backs that they can trust.
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying Breece Hall is even close to Henry or Braylon Allen's as physical as Henry. That's not what I'm saying. But the way Justin Fields runs and the way their collection of running backs run, can they figure out and be that sort of, I think it was said before, that Walmart Ravens type of offense? I think it's pretty clear that they can. And it's going to be fun to see. I hear it's supposed to rain again on Sunday. So, again, it's one of those contests where you're going to want to run the football. You're going to want to be the aggressor. As long as their offensive line continues to play like they did, there is no reason why they can't put up points in this matchup.
I wrote a column, Nick, that came out earlier today on JetsXFactor.com. I don't know if you saw it, but it was kind of detailing Justin Fields' Week 1 performance against the Steelers and looking back on his career, evaluating, is it sustainable for Fields? Was it just a flash? What does the future hold? My whole thing on the performance from quarterback Justin Fields, you look at the handful of silver linings. I think that one is chief among them, just given the fact how much he was talked about all offseason, the fact that he was, struggling throughout training camp and that poor performance against the Giants to end the preseason. Just his ability to manage the game, keep the ball moving downfield, complete some really, really nice passes, Nick, from time to time. The one to Jeremy Ruckert for the first down, obviously that beautiful touchdown that's going to catch all the highlights going to Garrett Wilson. His ability to use his legs. The thing that sticks out to me most, Nick, is that he didn't turn the ball over. He had no fumbles. He only took 1 sack, didn't throw a single interception. I've been big on Justin Fields all offseason long. I think his performance is just a testament to the protection that he had up front. And ultimately, look, if this offensive line stays healthy, their depth has already been tested with Elijah Vera Tucker ending his 2025 season before it even began. Josh Myers slid in perfectly at center. Joe Tippmann made the switch to guard look seamless, but Jets can't afford one more injury up front if they want to keep this momentum trending in the right direction with quarterback Justin Fields.
Yeah, 100%. And really, offensive lines like this, they start at the tackle spot. Armand Membu, Olu Fashanu, they both had very, very good games on Sunday. I think Fashanu kind of gets overlooked because of the sack that he gave up, a couple of pressures. But he was going up against a very difficult matchup in Alex Highsmith, and he was excellent when run blocking. So I kind of give that a glass half full, glass half empty type of approach. But Membu was fantastic, really was. I know people will talk about Tippmann and Josh Myers and how great they played, but Membu shutting down T.J. Watt is incredible. And really, I don't think it's talked about enough over the last few days of how strong of a performance that was across the entire rookie class. I mean, people love what they saw from Emeka Egbuka. They like what they saw from Ashton Genty, Cam Ward. But to me, the way that I looked at it, Membu was probably a top 2, top 3 rookie from that Week 1.
And what I'll say about this offensive line, I know we hear it every draft process. It's not the sexy pick, but when you really watch this offensive line still come to fruition without AVT, they really elevate every single dimension of the offense. When you talk about creating lanes for your running backs, when you talk about buying Justin Fields more time, it was very rare where we saw Justin Fields running for his life. And that was a routine thing when he was with the Chicago Bears. That was one of the worst offensive lines in the league at the time, playing under a very, very bad play caller in Luke Getsy. Another guy I'll give his flowers, rightfully so, is Tanner Engstrand. He called a hell of a game for Fields. Clearly had an understanding of his skill set, how to utilize his legs, when to utilize his legs, and where. What was your most positive takeaway when you talk about Fields' performance on Sunday?
I think the fact that he won from the pocket. He's not a quarterback consistently that has won from the pocket as a passer. His fourth quarter completion percentage going into 2025 was the worst among active quarterbacks since he's been in the league since 2021. All that has to be taken into account, and yet somehow this quarterback was outplaying one of the greatest arms in NFL history when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers may have won the game, but I do think most people would agree that Fields actually looked better from top to bottom. And it was the decision-making, it was the touch, it was the arm strength. All of that has to be taken into account when we have that contextual conversation. However, that's one game. he needs to be able to show that he can do this consistently week in and week out. Showing the bare minimum of I can play a competent starting quarterback, that's the first step. And he accomplished that first step. Now it's proving that he actually belongs as an NFL starter. There are a lot of good backup quarterbacks out there that can come in for a start and light it up. Gardner Minshew, Jameis Winston, whoever you want to throw out on a dartboard.
Tommy DeVito.
But anyway, but you look at those guys, and they'll play really well for one start and then not do anything. If Justin Fields wants to prove he can be a starting caliber quarterback, a franchise guy, as the Chicago Bears once drafted him for, he's going to have to do that again and do that for an entire 17-game season.
Now, what can we expect out of Fields on Sunday? Because obviously the Bills' defensive line, their presence up front is not nearly as strong as the Pittsburgh Steelers, who Fields faced off against next week, but they do have a reputation for their secondary. Tyrone Johnson, Christian Benford. It's going to be tough. Like Fields, for example, these receivers, I don't think are going to get open as quick as they did against Pittsburgh. I think he's going to have more time to go through his progressions, maybe with a weak defensive line up front with Buffalo. But at the same time, expect their secondary to have straps on Garrett Wilson and co.
Well, the question is going to be if Taron Johnson plays. He didn't practice yesterday. I believe he was limited today. Might have been a full participant, whatever it ends up being. His injury is going to be something to watch because they're going to want to use Garrett Wilson from the slot. And if the Bills have to force Christian Benford inside, that's a mismatch for Garrett Wilson every single day. So the chess match between McDermott and Engstrand is going to be fun to watch. Scheming receivers open, just having scheming Garrett Wilson open specifically, I think is very, very important. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the tight end position. Mason Taylor, Jeremy Ruckert, they had good games in week one. And if this passing offense is going to continue to build off of their strong performance, you got to be able to attack the middle of the field consistently. Fields had spurts of that throughout the game on Sunday. He's just got to be able to build off that as well. And I think that's where the tight end position, I know they've got Matt Milano. I know they've got Bernard. Both are really good linebackers. But if they can find a way to get their tight end position to win some of these contests, they're going to be set up very, very well for success in the passing game.
Now, when you talk about the Jets and their pass catchers, Nick, I know you expected a big game out of Arian Smith. We didn't see really much of him on Sunday, snap count-wise. What can we expect out of Smith on Sunday against the Bills?
Well, it's good. The big question, of course, Josh Reynolds dealing with an injury. I spoke to Tyler Johnson today. I think he'll be ready and primed for an important role on this team and in this offense if Reynolds doesn't go. The fact that he wasn't able to practice today on a Thursday, not exactly the best sign overall. So it'll be a wait-and-see game for Reynolds in the wide receiver 2 spot. So, yeah, maybe this is the day that we see Arian Smith get some scheme touches for him, end arounds, jet sweeps. Buffalo, I think, they don't have as much star power as Pittsburgh, but I think they're more fundamentally sound as an overall unit. And I think that's where you're going to have to go into your bag of tricks to figure out ways to pick up first downs and create big plays. Having a speed guy like Arian Smith find a way to do that, I think is a very good step.
We know all the tight ends that the Jets are carrying, Nick. If you can't count Andrew Beck as that fullback, who, by the way, had a great block on that red zone play with Braylon Allen. I pointed out live during the game, and then I saw it on all 22. Do you expect those same tight ends to be active in Smart, Ruckert, Taylor, and Beck? Are we going to see Jelani Woods on the field at all, or do you think it's going to be those 4 guys still?
No, I think it'll be those 4 guys. Ruckert had a very good game on Sunday. It's much better than we've seen during the preseason and also during the regular season last year. I think Ruckert's safe. Taylor's safe. He was back on the practice field today after missing on Wednesday. It'll be a wait-and-see game for some of these guys, but I think the tight end position is relatively set in stone.
Isaiah Davis, we saw him very minimally, Nick, on Sunday, but he ripped off some nice runs. 2 carries, 18 yards. That's what he's known to do. He's known to be that efficient back when you need chunk yards on, second and long and you want to run the ball. He's the guy that you put in there. What does his workload look like? Not even on Sunday, but for the remainder of the season, when you talk about this team taking a running back by committee approach, and obviously a positive step in the right direction for Breece Hall.
Well, I think in fairness to everyone, if Breece Hall is going to run like he did on Sunday, it doesn't really make much sense to play Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis in front of him. That's just the fact of the matter. I like what I saw a little bit from Braylon Allen, but I also that speed isn't there. He wasn't able to break away on some third and short plays, and that's essentially what he's supposed to be doing. So big questions there. I think Isaiah Davis will surely get some more touches, get some more looks. But if Hall plays the way he does, it doesn't really make much sense to keep him off the field.
One more question before we let you go here, Nick. The punt return, kick return situation. Xavier Gipson, he's not out of town. He's no longer with the Jets, goes over to the crosstown rival Giants. What is that workload? Who picks up those snaps at obviously the secondary kick return position? Possibly both kick return jobs could be open. We've heard nothing about Kane Nwangu. I think it's trending in the direction that he will be out on Sunday. But also, as this team's punt returner, I know they signed Isaiah Williams, I believe it was, who spent about a season with the Lions under Glenn, and obviously had a very productive preseason with the Cincinnati Bengals. Is he the guy you see out there?
Yeah, 100%. It's probably going to be him as a punt returner, and I would hypothesize it's him and Arian Smith, the kick returner, if Nkwonu is unable to go. It just makes more sense. He's more consistent.
What does that say to you about Jamal Pritchett? He showed that explosiveness not only on special teams throughout the preseason, but also offensively. You'd assume he's the next man up, but it doesn't appear that way.
The bare minimum for a punt returner is to catch the football, and that's essentially what it is. Field the punt. And as strong as Pritchett looked at times during the preseason, he also muffed a couple. One in game, multiple in practice. And if you can't do that consistently, the Jets aren't going to really put him out there. If they were content with putting Pritchett into the starting lineup, I don't think they would have brought in Williams in the first place. The fact that they did tells me that they don't really trust him, and they would rather just find someone else to do it.
The irony I find in that, though, when you talk about Aaron Glenn and his rostering decisions, Xavier Gipson had muffed 10 punts in his 34 NFL games entering Sunday. And I know the thought process that a new head coach, a new GM, a new coaching staff, it's a clean slate. But I think that same thought process should have applied towards Xavier Gipson. Nevertheless, Nick, thank you for the time as always. Any final thoughts, football related, non-football related, before we let you go here on the show?
All I will say is be careful. Be careful with betting on this game specifically. It may rain. There's going to be weather involved, and Buffalo coming to MetLife is always a house of horrors for them at times. And I think this could be one of those days as well.
Nick, thank you for the time as always. Will your Eagles win on Sunday? Are they playing?
Absolutely not. That ain't happening.
Oh, there you go. You're not picking the Eagles to win.
We're not going into Arrowhead and pulling off that win, especially after what we did in February.
Are you not pleased with the win against the
always.
Okay.
Yeah, you win any game against Dallas, and that's a big check plus for me on the year.
Will Jalen Carter spit on Patrick Mahomes?
No, I think he'll be on his best behavior and pick up 3 sacks. That much I predict.
Nick, thank you as always, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Of course. Thanks, Connor.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jets X Factors. Nick Faria, the great, the one, the only. Nick checking in with us right here on the show. Follow him on X, Twitter, at Nick_Faria1720. Read his work just like myself over at JetsXFactor.com. Nick, my co-worker, of course, at JetX. So always super fun chopping it up with him. Always great to get him on the show. And it's always great to see you guys tuning in, supporting the channel. It really goes a long way. Smashing the like button, hitting subscribe is the free way to help us grow. The paid way helps us just as much, and it gives you an opportunity to win some cool prizes, guys. You can get into our membership raffle. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an opportunity to win a Sauce Gardner signed jersey, a Garrett Wilson signed helmet, a Wayne Corbett signed jersey, a Nick Mangold signed jersey, a CJ Mosley signed jersey, a Bart Scott signed photo, a Don Maynard signed photo, and then, of course, the front page of the New York Daily News. Following the Jets' 1969 Super Bowl victory, that, of course, coming in a frame. Every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you an entry to the raffle in just 4 days, folks. So get your super chats, get your memberships in for a chance to win some super cool prizes. Our guy John starts us off right here on the show as he goes ahead and he gifts a membership, baby. Let's frickin' go.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Thank you so much for the support, John. Your membership went to mother effing. Shout out to you, MFC. Thank you for supporting the show. Shout out to all you guys. Again, every $2 super chat or gifted membership gives you a raffle entry to get into our raffle. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, questions, comments, thoughts. throw all of those in the chat. You guys call into the show with the link that is pinned in the description down below. We're going to get to everyone in the chat, so load up all your questions, comments, thoughts. We're going to get to your calls, so click the link that is pinned in the description down below to get in on our phone lines. First up here on the show is Charles Gorman, who joins us now. Charles, what is going on, my friend?
Not much, man. Just enjoying life as we know it. Yeah, I think the Jets have a better shot of beating Buffalo than what a lot of people think. I know the Jets are 6.5-point underdogs.
Yeah,
which is interesting, but I think the Jets have a much better shot than what people think. They gave up close to 240 yards rushing Buffalo. I think we can run the ball on them. I know they lost Ed Oliver more than likely for the game.
mm-hmm.
I know he's a good player, Ed Oliver, but we'll see. I know Buffalo's secondary is going to be a little more aggressive than the Steelers' secondary. That's for sure. I know they got Tre'Davious White back. They got Christian Benford. But we shall see. I think what I like about this New York Jet offense is that they are a run-first team. Not only a run-heavy team, but a run-first offensive team. And that's what really kind of saddened me the last couple of regimes where we were more of a pass-first team than a run-first team. And I didn't like the fact that we kind of, went away from that because, that was our strength. If you go back to when we last made the playoffs, the first 2 years under Rex, we were a run-first team. And we were a run-heavy team, but we were a run-first team. And that's what helped us succeed. So I look at this team. Obviously, we don't have that great of a receiving core. We don't have that great tight end room as well. But I do like the fact that we ran the football a lot on last Sunday versus Buffalo. I mean, we racked up 182 yards. That's pretty damn good if I don't say so myself.
Charles, thank you for the call as always. And I agree 100% with the points you made there. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you hopping on the show as always. I agree wholeheartedly with what you said. And not only is it a run-first team, they showed that they have the potential to pass the ball as well. It's just going to start with rushing the football. That's going to be the primary facet, the vocal point of this team. Playing smash mouth football, running the ball down opposing teams' throats. And I think that gives the Jets a really, really, really solid mismatch in their favor on Sunday against Buffalo. Even with Ed Oliver on the field last week, who's the anchor of that defensive line, they still surrendered over 250 yards to the Baltimore Ravens. So, look, the Jets are going to have an opportunity to capitalize on that weakness from with the Bills, and Buffalo, and they better capitalize on it. I'll say that right now. If they want to win the game, it's going to have to be a similar game plan. 100 yards out of Breece Hall, 180, 190 total rushing yards, 200 passing yards from Justin Fields. That's going to be the blueprint to win on Sunday. Thank you all for joining us right here on the show. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe. We appreciate the support as always. Get your final questions, comments, thoughts in the chat before we do wrap up. We appreciate your support as always right here on NY Flay Jets Talk. Fun show. We're going to be back tomorrow, so don't worry. We're not going anywhere. Still doing daily content here on the show. And then, of course, on Sunday, live pregame shows with Matt O'Leary, fellow Jets content creator, every single week. And then an immediate reaction following the final whistle right here on the program. So stay tuned for those as well. Smash the like button. Hit subscribe for free. You get daily Jets content. It goes a long way to helping us grow this platform. I appreciate the hell out of you. Appreciate all you guys joining us right here on the show. I'm your host, Connor Long, right here on NY Flight Jets Talk, saying have a great rest of your evening, everyone. And as always, JTS, baby. Jets, Jets, Jets. Peace out, folks.